Commander Zixtal stood on the bridge of his ship, looking at the small blue planet below. Earth, the humans called it. His long fingers moved across the control panel as he studied the readings. The planet looked peaceful from up here, with white clouds swirling over green and brown land masses. "What do the scans show?" asked his second officer, a tall alien with silver skin and 4 arms. Zixtal shook his head slowly. "They are weak, very weak. Their weapons are primitive. They still use metal projectiles and chemical explosives. Their ships barely leave their home planet." On Earth, Captain Jake Morrison received the alien message in his command center. He was a strong man with gray hair and tired eyes. For 20 years, he had prepared for this moment. The message played on the main screen in front of him. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We wish to meet with your leaders." Jake turned to his team. "Send the standard response. Tell them we accept their invitation to meet." Lieutenant Sam Torres, a young pilot with quick reflexes, looked worried. "Sir, should we prepare the fleet?" Jake smiled. "No, Sam, we go as planned. Remember, we are just simple humans who need protection." 3 days later, Jake found himself on a space station called Kepler 7. The station was huge, bigger than any city on Earth. Strange alien creatures walked through the halls. Some looked like giant insects, others like living crystals that sparkled. In the light, Ambassador Lisa Carter walked beside Jake. She was a smart woman who spoke many languages. Her job was to make the aliens think humans were harmless. Behind them walked General Ryan Brooks, a quiet man who noticed everything. "Remember," Lisa whispered to Jake, "we are grateful for their help. We are scared and need protection." The meeting room was enormous. At a round table sat representatives from different alien species. Commander Zixtal was there, along with beings Jake had never seen before. One looked like a tall, thin human with blue skin and large eyes. Another was made of what looked like purple crystal. A third had 6 legs and moved like a giant ant. "Welcome, humans," said the blue-skinned alien. "I am Ambassador Valtar of the Altarian Republic. We have studied your species." Lisa bowed her head. "Thank you for meeting with us. We are honored." The crystal being spoke with a voice like wind chimes. "Your species is young? You have much to learn about the galaxy. There are dangers out here that you cannot imagine." Ryan Brooks nodded. "We know we are not ready for space travel. We hope you can help us." Commander Zixtal leaned forward. "Your planet is in a dangerous part of the galaxy. There are raiders, pirates, and warrior species that would destroy you without thinking. You need protection?" Jake pretended to look worried. "What kind of protection?" "Simple," said the insect-like alien. "You become part of our protection zone. We will guard your planet. In return, you provide us with workers and resources. It is a fair trade." Lisa looked at Jake and Ryan. They had practiced this moment many times. "We need to discuss this with our leaders," she said. The aliens looked at each other. Zixtal spoke first. "Of course. But do not take too long. The galaxy is dangerous for weak species like yours." After the meeting, Jake and his team returned to their ship. Once they were alone, Ryan spoke quietly. "They think we are pathetic." "Good," said Jake. "That is exactly what we want them to think," Lisa smiled. "Did you see how they looked at us? Like we were children who needed to be saved." Back on the alien station, the council members met without the humans. "They are weaker than we thought," said Veltar. "Their technology is hundreds of years behind ours. Their bodies are soft and fragile." The crystal being agreed. "They seemed grateful for our offer, almost desperate." Commander Zixtal nodded. "They will make good workers. Humans are small and can fit in tight spaces. They seem willing to follow orders. What about their military?" asked the insect alien. Zixtal laughed. "What military?" "They have small ships and basic weapons. Their soldiers looked scared when we mentioned the dangers of space." The aliens had no idea that Jake Morrison had fought in 3 wars on Earth. They did not know that Ryan Brooks had planned military operations on 4 continents. They did not know that Lisa Carter spoke 12 languages and had studied alien psychology for 5 years. Most importantly, they did not know that hidden in asteroid belts around Earth, human ships waited in the darkness. Ships that had been built in secret using technology stolen from crashed alien vessels. Ships crewed by pilots like Sam Torres, who had trained for years to fight in zero gravity. The aliens saw what humans wanted them to see. Weak, grateful creatures who needed protection. They had no idea that humans had been preparing for this. Moments since the first alien probe had been detected entering their solar system, the trap was set. The aliens had taken the bait. Now, humanity would begin the most dangerous game they had ever played. They would pretend to be weak while they learned everything about their new alien friends. They would smile and bow while they studied alien technology and military tactics. The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones that look the most harmless. 6 months had passed since the first meeting with the Galactic Council. Earth had officially accepted the protection contract, and humans were now spreading across alien worlds. The aliens thought this was proof of human weakness and desperation. They had no idea what was really happening. Nick Patterson wiped sweat from his face as he worked in the Altarian shipyards. His human hands were smaller than Altarian hands, which made him perfect for fixing the tiny circuits inside their spacecraft. The blue-skinned aliens praised him for his good work. They had no idea that Nick was actually a former Navy engineer who had graduated top of his class from the Naval Academy. "Good work today, Nick," said Supervisor Colvin as he walked past Nick's station. "You humans learn so quickly." Nick smiled and nodded. "Thank you, sir. I am happy to help." What Colvin did not know was that Nick had already memorized the complete design of 3 different Altarian warships. He knew how their engines worked, how their weapon systems operated, and most importantly, how to disable them. The small camera hidden in his work tool had recorded everything. On the other side of the galaxy, Maria Santos was serving tea to important Vector officials on their crystal homeworld. The Vector were proud of their advanced culture and loved to talk about their military strategies while Maria listened quietly. "The humans are such good listeners," said Council Member Vexrol as Maria poured his drink. "They never interrupt or argue like other species." Maria bowed her head respectfully. "We have much to learn from your wisdom." The crystal being continued talking about Vector fleet movements and defensive positions. Maria remembered every word. She had been trained to have a perfect memory and could recall conversations from months ago. The Vector thought she was just a simple servant girl. They did not know she had a degree in military strategy and spoke 7 alien languages. Back on Earth, Dr. Amanda Foster worked day and night in a secret laboratory hidden beneath the Rocky Mountains. She studied pieces of alien technology that human agents had quietly collected over the past 6 months. Her team had made amazing discoveries. The Altarian power cores are actually quite simple, Amanda told her assistant Dr. Kevin Walsh. They use a crystal matrix that we can easily copy. Their shielding technology is impressive, but it has a weakness. Kevin looked at the alien device on the table. "What kind of weakness?" "It works by deflecting energy attacks, but physical projectiles can pass right through if they move fast enough." The aliens stopped using projectile weapons thousands of years ago, so they forgot about this problem. Amanda smiled as she made notes. "Our old-fashioned bullets and missiles will work perfectly against their shields." In another part of the facility, Colonel Chris Taylor studied reports from human agents across the galaxy. He was building a complete picture of alien military capabilities, strengths, and weaknesses. His wall was covered with maps showing alien fleet positions, supply routes, and communication networks. "Zephyrians rely too heavily on their hive mind communication," Chris told his team. "If we can disrupt their central command, they will become confused and disorganized." Lieutenant Colonel Beth Murphy nodded. "What about the hegemony forces?" "They are strong but predictable. They follow the same battle tactics they have used for centuries. They expect enemies to fight with honor and follow rules. We will not do either." The aliens had no idea that every human worker, servant, and diplomat was actually a highly trained intelligence operative. They thought humans were grateful for the chance to work on alien worlds. The truth was that Earth's government had carefully selected each person for their specific skills and missions on The Zephyrian homeworld janitor Pete Johnson cleaned floors in their military headquarters, the insect-like. Aliens ignored him completely. They thought humans were too stupid to understand their complex battle plans. Pete had actually been a Marine intelligence officer for 15 years. He understood their plans perfectly. Teacher Sarah Martinez worked in Krekshi schools teaching alien children about human culture. The warrior species found her lessons amusing and harmless. They did not know that Sarah was studying their children to learn about Krekshi, psychology, and social structure. She was finding weaknesses that could be used against them later. Every day, human agents sent coded messages back to Earth using alien communication systems. The aliens never suspected that their own networks were being used against them. They thought humans were too primitive to hack their technology. They were wrong. Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command center reading reports from around the galaxy. His desk was covered with intelligence files, stolen alien technology blueprints, and strategic analysis. The picture was becoming clear. "How long do we need?" asked General Ryan Brooks. Jake looked at the timeline on his wall. "Another 6 months, maybe less. The aliens are making it easy for us. They trust us completely." Ryan shook his head. "They have no idea what humans are capable of when we are threatened. They think we are weak because we avoid fights and follow their rules." Jake replied, "They do not understand that we are not avoiding fights. We are preparing for the biggest fight in human history." The aliens continued to praise their human helpers. The Galactic Council was pleased with how well the protection contract was working. They thought humans were adapting perfectly to their new role as a lesser species. They had no idea that humanity was playing the longest game in their history. Every smile, every bow, every grateful word was part of a massive deception. Humans were not seeking protection. They were learning everything they could about their enemies. The galaxy was about to discover that the most dangerous predators are the ones that hunt in silence. The attack came without warning. The Krekshi war fleet dropped out of hyperspace above the human colony of New Dakota. Their ships were massive and covered in armor that looked like black metal spikes. The Krekshi were not part of the Galactic Council. They were warriors who believed only the strong deserved to live. War Chief Gregtor stood on his command ship looking down at the farming colony below. He expected to see humans running in panic, calling for help from their alien protectors. Instead, the colony went completely silent. "Send the surrender demand." Gregtor ordered his communications officer. The message was broadcast to New Dakota. "Weak humans, you have 1 hour to surrender or we will take your world by force." No answer came back on the surface. Farmer Pete Johnson was not really a farmer. He had been a Marine sergeant for 12 years before volunteering for this mission. He looked at the alien ships in the sky and smiled. "Finally," he said to himself, "time to show these aliens what humans can really do." Pete activated his hidden communicator. "This is Eagle Base. All units respond." Voices came back from around the colony. "Hawk Squad ready. Volf Pack in position. Tiger unit standing by." The Krekshi had no idea that New Dakota was not a farming colony. It was a military base disguised as a farm. Every human there was a trained soldier. The crops were real, but the farmers were not. Sarah Martinez had been a schoolteacher on Earth, but she was also a former Army captain. She gathered her team in the hidden bunker beneath the school building. "Remember the plan," Sarah told her soldiers. "The Krekshi fight with honor. They expect us to meet them in open battle. We will not do that. We will hit them hard and disappear." Teacher Amy Clark checked her rifle. "What about the civilians?" "There are no civilians here, Amy. Everyone in this colony is military. We have been preparing for this moment for 8 months. The Krekshi landing ships came down like falling meteors. They carried 2,000 warriors armed with energy weapons and powered armor. War Chief Gregtor expected the humans to surrender when they saw his mighty army. Instead, the humans vanished. The Krekshi warriors marched through empty streets. They found no one to fight. The buildings seemed abandoned, but something felt wrong. Windows were broken in strange patterns. Doors hung open at odd angles. "Where are they?" growled Commander Vexcall as he led his troops through the main street. The answer came as a sniper bullet took out his communications officer. Then another shot disabled the warrior next to him. The Krekshi spun around looking for the shooter but saw nothing. Pete Johnson lay hidden in a grain silo 600 meters away. His rifle was an old human design that the aliens had never seen before. It was quiet and deadly. The Krekshi energy weapons were powerful, but they made bright flashes that gave away their position. Target down, Pete whispered into his radio, moving to position 2. All around the colony, human soldiers were doing the same thing. They fired 1 or 2 shots, then moved to a new hiding place. The Krekshi had no idea where the attacks were coming from. Sarah Martinez led her team through underground tunnels that connected every building in the colony. The Krekshi did not know about the tunnels. They thought humans were too primitive to build such things. Explosive charges are set, reported Soldier Danny Walsh through the radio. Ready to blow the fuel depot. Wait for my signal, Sarah replied. Let more of them get close. The Krekshi were getting angry. They were used to enemies who fought with honor in open battle. These humans fought like cowards, hiding and running. But their shots were deadly accurate every time a Krekshi warrior showed himself. Human bullets found their target. Commander Vexkal gathered his remaining troops in the town center. Form a defensive circle, watch all directions. That was exactly what Sarah had been waiting for. All units execute phase 2. Explosions erupted all around the Krekshi position. The fuel depot exploded in a massive fireball. The power station went up in sparks and smoke. Even the grain silos exploded, showering the aliens with burning debris. The Krekshi warriors were tough, but they had never faced enemies who destroyed everything rather than trying to capture it. The humans were not fighting to win territory. They were fighting to kill as many aliens as possible. Fall back to the ships, Vexkal ordered, but the humans had destroyed the landing zones too. The Krekshi ships were trapped in craters filled with burning fuel. Their escape route was gone. For 3 days the battle continued. The Krekshi had better weapons and armor, but the humans knew the terrain. They appeared like ghosts, fired their weapons, and vanished again. The aliens could not fight an enemy they could not see. War Chief Gregtor watched his forces being destroyed from orbit. He had started with 2,000 warriors. Now he had less than 700. The humans had turned his invasion into a nightmare. Sir, said his communications officer, we are receiving a message from the human commander. The face of Sarah Martinez appeared on the screen. She looked calm and confident. War Chief Gregtor, I am Commander Martinez of the new Dakota Defense Force. I have an offer for you, Gregtor snarled. What could you possibly offer me, human? Your life and the lives of your remaining warriors. Leave now and never return. If you stay, we will kill every single one of you. The war chief could not believe what he was hearing. You think you can threaten me? You're just weak humans, Sarah smiled. Look at your casualty reports. We have killed or wounded over 1,300 of your warriors. How many humans have you killed? Gregtor checked his battle reports. The number shocked him. His warriors had killed exactly 17 humans in 3 days of fighting. This is impossible, he whispered. This is what happens when you underestimate humans. Sarah replied, we may look weak, but we are the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. We just prefer to hunt quietly. War Chief Gregtor looked at his remaining forces, then at the burning colony below. He had never retreated from a battle before, but he had never fought humans before either. All ships prepare for departure, he ordered. We leave immediately. News of the battle spread quickly across the galaxy. The Krekshi had been defeated by primitive humans. Most aliens refused to believe it. Admiral Thokmal of the Hegemony fleet was angry. The humans had embarrassed the galaxy by defeating the Krekshi. It was time to remind these primitive creatures of their place in the universe. The Hegemony Council had decided that Earth needed to be punished for breaking a minor trade agreement. 12 ships should be more than enough, Thokmal told his officers as they prepared for the journey to Earth. The humans got lucky against the Krekshi, but we are not simple warriors. We are the most advanced military force in the galaxy. His second-in-command, Captain Vorthal, nodded. The humans will surrender the moment they see our fleet. They know they cannot fight us. The Hegemony ships were massive floating cities filled with advanced weapons and thousands of crew members. Their shields could stop any known weapon and their cannons could destroy entire planets. Admiral Thokmal expected the humans to beg for mercy. 3 days later, the Hegemony fleet arrived at Earth. Admiral Thokmal looked at the small blue planet and smiled. This would be easy. The humans had no real military, and their ships were barely capable of leaving their atmosphere. Send the surrender demand, Thokmal ordered. The message was broadcast to Earth. Humans of Earth, you have violated the trade agreement. You will surrender immediately and accept punishment for your crimes. Captain Tony Rodriguez sat in the command center of the destroyer, USS Defiance, hidden behind Earth's moon. He had been waiting for this moment for 2 years. The ship around him was not built with human technology alone. It used alien systems that had been stolen and improved by human engineers. "Admiral, they are demanding our surrender," reported his communications officer, Tony. Smiled. "Send them our response." The message went back to the hegemony fleet. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force. Your demand is rejected. Come and take us if you can." Admiral Thokmal could not believe what he was hearing. Impossible. These humans have lost their minds. Prepare for attack. The hegemony ships moved toward Earth, expecting to find a few primitive vessels. Instead, they found something that made no sense. Ships appeared from behind moons and asteroids, ships that had not been there during their last visit to Earth. Where did they come from? Demanded Captain Vorthal. "It does not matter," Thokmal replied. "They are still just humans with primitive technology. The first shots came from the human ships. Their weapons were unlike anything the hegemony had seen before. The projectiles moved faster than energy beams and punched through alien shields like they were made of paper." "Shields are failing," reported the tactical officer on Thokmal's flagship. "How is this possible?" Lieutenant Commander Kelly Adams piloted her fighter craft between the massive alien ships. Her small vessel moved in ways that confused the enemy targeting systems. The aliens expected ships to move in straight lines and follow predictable patterns. Kelly's fighter twisted and spun like a living thing. "Fox Squadron, this is Lead." Kelly spoke into her radio. "Remember, these aliens have never fought anything that moves like we do. Use that against them." The human fighters swarmed around the alien ships like angry wasps. They were too small and fast for the big guns to hit, but their weapons were deadly accurate. Each fighter carried missiles designed to exploit the weaknesses Dr. Amanda Foster had discovered in alien technology. Sam Torres was the best pilot in the human fleet. He had trained for years in secret, preparing for this battle. His fighter danced between laser blasts as he lined up his attack on the enemy. "Flagship, this is Ghost Leader. I have tone on the command ship." Sam reported. "Take the shot," came the reply from Tony Rodriguez. Sam's missile streaked toward the alien flagship. It passed right through their shields and exploded against the hull. Admiral Thokmal felt his ship shake from the impact damage. "Report," he shouted. "Hull breach on decks 7 through 12, came the reply. "The humans are using projectile weapons that our shields cannot stop." The space battle raged for 4 hours. The hegemony had expected to win in minutes. Instead, they were being destroyed by enemies they had dismissed as primitives. Human ships that should not exist were tearing apart their fleet. Captain Tony Rodriguez watched the battle from his command center. His ship moved like a predator stalking its prey. The human crew worked with deadly efficiency. Every shot counted. Every movement had purpose. "Enemy cruiser is breaking apart," reported his weapons officer. "That is their 5th ship down." "Good," Tony replied. "Target the next one." The aliens were learning that humans did not fight like civilized species. They did not follow rules or show mercy. They fought to win at any cost. Their tactics changed faster than alien computers could calculate. Admiral Thokmal watched half his fleet burn in space. The humans were not just defeating them, they were destroying them completely. No alien survivors were being rescued. No disabled ships were being spared. "All ships retreat immediately," Thokmal ordered. "Emergency jump to hyperspace." The remaining hegemony ships fled Earth, leaving behind 6 destroyed vessels and thousands of dead crew members. It was the first time in galactic history that a major power had been defeated by a primitive species. Captain Tony Rodriguez stood on his bridge watching the alien ships disappear. His crew cheered, but Tony remained calm. "This was just the beginning. Send a message to all human agents in the galaxy," he ordered. "Tell them the mask is off. Operation Revelation starts now." Across the galaxy, human agents received the signal. Nick Patterson in the Altarian shipyards, Maria Santos on the Vector homeworld, Pete Johnson on the Zephyrian military base. All of them had been waiting for this moment. The time for pretending to be weak was over now. The galaxy would learn what humans were really capable of when they stopped hiding their true nature. Admiral Thokmal arrived at hegemony headquarters, broken and defeated. He had to explain how a primitive species had destroyed half his fleet. The other admirals Could not believe his report. Impossible, said Admiral Kexler. Humans are weak. They have no real military. I thought so too, Dokmo replied. I was wrong, we all were. The humans have been preparing for war since first contact. They used our own technology against us, but made it better. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The mighty hegemony fleet had been defeated by humans. Ships that should not exist had appeared from nowhere. Weapons that should not work had torn through advanced shields. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. For the first time in thousands of years, they were afraid. The weak humans they had offered protection to were actually the most dangerous predators, and the galaxy war was coming, and the aliens were beginning to realize they might not win. The message spread across the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. Human agents everywhere received the same signal. Operation Revelation had begun. The time for pretending to be weak servants was over. Now the galaxy would see what humans really were. On Altair Prime, the morning shift at the main shipyard started like any other day. The blue-skinned Altarians walked to their workstations expecting another quiet day of building ships. They had no idea that everything was about to change. Foreman Danny Walsh looked at his team of human workers. They had been planning this moment for 18 months. Every human in the facility knew exactly what to do. They had studied every system, every weak point, every way to cause maximum damage. Remember the plan, Danny whispered to his crew. We have 15 minutes before they realize what is happening. The Altarians trusted their human workers completely. Humans were gentle creatures who followed orders and worked hard. They would never cause trouble. That trust was about to be shattered. At exactly noon, Danny gave the signal. Human workers across the shipyard began their mission. Nick Patterson disabled the main power grid while construction worker Carl Mason destroyed the computer systems that controlled the automated assembly lines. What are you doing? Shouted Supervisor Colvan as he watched Nick tear apart the control panel. Stop this immediately. Nick looked at the alien who had treated him like a simple-minded servant for months. I am showing you what humans are really capable of. Explosions began to rock the shipyard as humans activated bombs they had been secretly placing for months. The massive construction facility that built warships for the Altarian fleet was being destroyed from the inside. On the Vector homeworld, Maria Santos stood in the council chamber where she had served tea for so many months. The crystal beings were discussing their military response to the human threat. They still thought she was just a harmless servant. The humans cannot be as dangerous as reports suggest, said Council Member Thexroll. They are weak creatures who need our protection. Maria stepped forward. Actually, Council Member, you are wrong about humans. We are not weak at all. We are apex predators. The Vector Council members stared at her in shock. What did you say? For months I have listened to your military plans. I know the location of every Vector fleet, the strength of every defense system, and the weakness of every weapon you have, Maria continued. All of this information is already on its way to Earth. Before the aliens could react, Maria activated a small device. Human soldiers burst through the doors. They had been hiding in the building for weeks, pretending to be janitors and maintenance workers. Secure the chamber, ordered team leader Jason Wright. Make sure no one sends any messages. The Vector Council members could not believe what was happening. Their trusted human servants were actually enemy agents who had been spying on them for months on dozens of worlds across the galaxy. Similar scenes were playing out. Human workers revealed their true nature and began systematic sabotage operations. Spaceports were destroyed, communication networks were cut, and military installations were crippled. The Zephyrian hive mind was perhaps the most shocked of all. They had thought their mental connection made them impossible to spy on. They were wrong. Human agents like janitor Pete Johnson had been studying their behavior patterns for months. The humans knew about our weaknesses all along, buzzed Commander Zakdal as he watched his military base burn. They were never servants. They were scouts preparing for invasion. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. Representatives from every major species gathered to discuss the human threat. The meeting room was filled with fear and anger. How did this happen? Demanded Ambassador Veltar of the Altarian Republic. How did we miss this? Commander Zixtal looked ashamed. We underestimated them. We thought they were weak because they looked weak. We thought they were grateful because they acted grateful. The truth was becoming clear to everyone. Humans had been playing A game that lasted almost 2 years. They had accepted the protection contract, not because they were weak, but because it gave them access to alien worlds and technology. They used our own systems against us, said a Vector representative. Their agents infiltrated our most secure facilities. We trusted them completely. Intelligence reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Every human worker, servant, or diplomat had been an enemy agent. The species that had seemed so harmless and grateful had been preparing for war since first contact. What do we know about their real military capabilities? Asked the Zephyrian ambassador. Commander Zixtel displayed the battle reports from Earth. They destroyed half the hegemony fleet. Their ships appear to be built with our own technology, but modified in ways we do not understand. How is that possible? Demanded an alien general. Their technology was centuries behind ours. We gave them access to our technology. Zixtel replied. Every human who worked in our facilities was studying our systems. They reverse-engineered everything we had and made it better. The council members looked at each other with growing horror. They had been completely deceived by a species they thought was primitive. The humans had out-thought them out, planned them, and outmaneuvered them. What about the humans still on our worlds? Asked the Altarian representative. There are thousands of them. They are all enemy agents. Came the reply. Every single human in the galaxy is part of their military intelligence network. Reports continued to arrive showing the scale of human infiltration. Human agents had been placed in government buildings, military bases, research facilities, and communication centers. They knew everything about alien capabilities and weaknesses. We need to capture them for questioning, suggested a hegemony admiral. Too late, replied the intelligence officer. Most of them have already escaped or been evacuated. Their mission was never to stay hidden forever. It was to gather information until they were ready to reveal themselves. The Galactic Council faced a terrible reality. The species they had offered protection to was actually the most dangerous enemy they had ever encountered. Humans had been preparing for war while pretending to be grateful refugees. What do we do now? Asked Ambassador Veltar. We prepare for total war, replied Commander Zixtel. The humans have shown us they are not weak. They are predators who have been hunting us from the beginning. Across the galaxy, alien military forces went to high alert. Emergency meetings were called. Defense systems were activated. The great powers of the galaxy were preparing for a war they never expected to fight, but they were already behind. Human agents had given Earth detailed intelligence about every alien military capability. The element of surprise was gone. The aliens were reacting to human moves instead of making their own. The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one that looks like a friend. The galaxy erupted into chaos as every major alien power tried to contain the human threat. But they were fighting an enemy unlike anything they had ever faced before. Humans did not follow the rules of civilized warfare. They fought like the predators. They had always been. General Casey Murphy stood in the command center of the human battle station. Omega 7, she watched reports flooding in from across the galaxy. Her forces were striking targets that the aliens never thought could be attacked. Status report. Casey asked her intelligence officer. All primary objectives are under attack, replied Colonel Frank Adams. The Altarian fuel refineries are destroyed. The Vector communication network is offline. Zephyrian hive nodes are being systematically eliminated. Casey smiled grimly. Good, the aliens are learning that we do not fight fair. On the hegemony world of crystal, alien civilians watched in horror as human forces attacked their cities. The aliens had expected military targets to be hit, but humans were destroying everything that supported the war effort. Sergeant Bill Harper led his squad through the ruins of what had been a factory. The building had made parts for alien warships. Now it was a smoking crater. His men moved like ghosts through the debris. Contact front, whispered Private Tim Jackson as he spotted alien defenders. The hegemony soldiers were tough and well-armed, but they had trained to fight other civilized species. They expected enemies to announce themselves and fight with honor. Bill's squad did neither. The humans attacked from 6 directions at once. They used the destroyed factory as cover, moving through shadows and smoke. The aliens could not see them coming until it was too late. Where are they? Shouted the alien commander as his troops fell around him. Bill appeared behind the alien and disabled him with a single shot. His squad eliminated the remaining defenders in seconds. The aliens never had a chance to fight back. This scene repeated across dozens of worlds. Human forces struck without warning, destroyed their targets, and vanished before reinforcements could arrive. They did not try to hold territory. They just wanted to cause maximum damage. The Altarian Republic tried to fight back, but their military was not ready for human tactics. Admiral Kexvin commanded a fleet of 30 ships sent to destroy a human base. His forces followed standard battle formations and attacked the human position directly. They flew into a trap. Captain Lisa Williams commanded the human defense fleet. Her ships were hidden in an asteroid field, waiting for the aliens to come to them. The Altarians had no idea they were being watched. All ships prepare for ambush, Lisa ordered. Remember, they will expect us to fight like civilized beings. We will not. The human ships attacked from all directions at once. They did not announce themselves or demand surrender. They just opened fire with weapons designed to kill. The Altarian fleet was caught completely off guard. They are not following proper battle protocols, Admiral Kexvin shouted as his ships were destroyed around him. This is not how civilized species fight. We are not civilized, Lisa replied over the communication channel. Predators. The surviving Altarian ships fled, leaving half their fleet destroyed. The humans had won another victory using tactics that horrified their enemies on the Vector homeworld. The crystal beings tried to understand what was happening. Their military leaders had studied human behavior for months, but nothing had prepared them for this. They target our civilians, said War Minister Velketh. They destroy our infrastructure. They show no mercy to surrendering forces. This is not warfare. This is slaughter. The Vector were right. Humans did not fight like other species. They had learned from studying alien weaknesses that these civilizations had forgotten how to fight a total war. Humans remembered Colonel Rachel Stone led the assault on the Zephyrian Command Center. The insect-like aliens had thought their hive mind made them unbeatable in battle. They could coordinate perfectly and react faster than any individual species. They were wrong. Rachel's forces used electronic warfare to disrupt the Zephyrian mental connections. The aliens became confused and disoriented when they could not communicate with each other. Jam their frequencies, Rachel ordered. Make them fight as individuals. The Zephyrians had never learned to fight without their hive mind. When the mental connection was broken, they panicked. Their perfect coordination became chaos. This is impossible, buzzed Commander Zaktel as his forces collapsed. No species can fight without communication. Humans can. Rachel replied, we learned to fight alone long before we learned to fight together. The war spread to every corner of the galaxy. Human forces seemed to be everywhere at once. They attacked supply lines, destroyed production facilities, and eliminated key leaders. The aliens could not predict where they would strike next. What horrified the aliens most was that humans seemed to enjoy fighting. Other species fought because they had to. Humans fought because they were good at it. They had turned warfare into an art form. The Galactic Council met again, but this time the mood was desperate. Representatives from every major power reported the same thing. Human forces were destroying their military capabilities faster than they could rebuild them. We need to negotiate, said Ambassador Veltar. Perhaps we can find a peaceful solution. There is no negotiation with predators, replied Commander Zixtel. They will not stop until they have won completely. The truth was becoming clear to everyone. The humans had been preparing for this war since first contact. They had studied every alien weakness and prepared countermeasures for every alien. Strength reports came in of human forces using captured alien technology in ways its creators had never imagined. Human engineers had taken alien weapons and made them more deadly. Human pilots flew alien ships better than the species that built them. How can they adapt so quickly? Asked a hegemony general. Because they are survivors, came the reply. They evolved on a world that tried to kill them. Every day they learned to use everything as a weapon. The war was turning into a disaster for the alien powers. Their fleets were being destroyed, their worlds were being attacked, and their people were losing hope. The humans had revealed themselves to be the most dangerous species in the galaxy, but the worst was yet to come. The aliens were beginning to realize that this was not just a war for territory or resources. The humans were fighting for something much more important. They were fighting for the right to exist as equals in a galaxy. That had tried to make them servants. The war would continue until one side was completely defeated, and the aliens were starting to understand that it would not be the humans who lost. 2 years after the war began, the mighty Galactic Council was no longer mighty. The greatest powers in the galaxy had been brought to their knees by the species they had once called weak. Admiral Thokmal stood in the ruins of his flagship trying to understand how everything had gone so wrong. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the human fleet," reported his communications officer. Admiral Thokmal looked at the screen where Captain Tony Rodriguez appeared. The human looked calm and confident, like he had won an easy victory. "Admiral Thokmal," Tony said, "I am here to discuss your surrender." "Surrender?" Thokmal could barely speak the word. "The hegemony does not surrender." "The hegemony no longer exists," Tony replied. "Your fleet is destroyed, your homeworld is occupied, and your government has fled. We are offering you a chance to save the lives of your remaining crew." Thokmal looked around his bridge. Half his crew was dead or wounded. His mighty fleet had been reduced to 3 damaged ships. The humans had won completely. "What are your terms?" he asked quietly. "Unconditional surrender," Tony answered. "Your forces will stand down immediately. You will be treated according to the laws of war, but you will no longer resist." Across the galaxy, similar conversations were taking place. The Altarian Republic had lost 70% of its fleet. The Vector homeworld was under human occupation. The Zephyrian hive mind had been shattered when human forces destroyed their central command nodes in the Great Council chamber that had once been the center of galactic power. Human soldiers now stood guard. President Lavra, King of Earth, walked to the podium where alien leaders had once made laws for the galaxy. Members of the former Galactic Council, Lavra began, "This war could have been avoided. You offered us protection, but what you really wanted was to make us slaves." The surviving alien representatives sat in silence. Some were injured, others were in shock. All of them were defeated. "You underestimated us because we looked weak," Lavra continued. "You thought our soft bodies and small size meant we were helpless. You were wrong." Ambassador Veltar of the Altarian Republic stood slowly. "We did not mean to make you slaves. We thought we were helping you." "You thought you were helping yourselves," Lavra replied. "You wanted workers and resources. You saw us as a useful species that could be controlled." Commander Zixtel spoke from his seat. "We admit we were wrong about humans, but surely we can find a way to coexist peacefully." Lavra nodded. "That is why we are here. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We want to be equals in it." The new treaty was signed on Earth in the same room where the first alien contact had taken place. The document established humanity as a major power with the right to self-governance and territorial expansion. Ambassador Robert Clark read the terms to the assembled alien representatives. "The Terran Federation will control all systems within 50 light-years of Earth. Former Galactic Council members will respect human sovereignty and trading rights." "What about our colonies?" asked a Vector representative. "Some of our worlds are within your territory. They can remain under your control as long as they follow Federation law," Robert replied. "But they will pay taxes to the human government and accept human military protection." The irony was not lost on anyone. The aliens who had once offered protection to humanity now needed human protection themselves. Admiral Karen Stone commanded the new Federation fleet. Her ships patrolled the galaxy, keeping peace between former enemies. Many alien species had requested human military advisors to help rebuild their forces. "Strange how things change," Karen told her bridge crew as they approached a former hegemony world. 2 years ago they thought we were too primitive to have real weapons. Now they beg us to sell them our technology, replied her tactical officer lieutenant. Commander Mike Torres, they want to buy the same weapons they said were impossible. The transformation of the galaxy was remarkable. Human colonies appeared on dozens of worlds. Human technology spread throughout former alien territories. Human ideas about government and individual rights became popular among species that had lived under rigid hierarchies for thousands of years. Dr. Amanda Foster now served as the Federation's chief science advisor. She worked with alien researchers who had once dismissed human intelligence as primitive. Your species has a unique way of solving problems, said Dr. Kextel, an Altarian scientist. You approach challenges from directions we never considered. We had to learn to think differently, Amanda replied. When you are the smallest and weakest species on your planet, you learn to be creative or you die. On the former Zephyrian homeworld human governor, Sarah Martinez worked with local leaders to rebuild their society. The insect-like aliens had been lost without their hive mind, but humans were teaching them to think as individuals. Your way is frightening, admitted former Commander Zachtel. To think alone without the comfort of shared thoughts. It is frightening at first, Sarah agreed, but it is also liberating. You can choose your own path instead of following what others think. The changes were not just political or military. Human culture was spreading across the galaxy. Alien children played human games, learned human languages, and adopted human customs. In the new Federation capital on Earth, President Lavera King met with alien ambassadors who had once looked down on humanity as primitive creatures. We have learned much from this war, said Ambassador Valtar. We learned that strength comes in many forms. You learn that appearances can be deceiving. Lavar replied, you saw weakness where there was actually patience. You saw gratitude where there was actually planning. The galaxy had been transformed. The weak had become strong. The protected had become protectors. The servants had become masters. In schools across human space, children learned about the war and how their species had gone from being offered protection to providing it. They learned that sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones that look the most harmless. The aliens had thought humans were weak until they saw them fight. Now they knew the truth. Humanity had always been strong. They had just been waiting for the right moment to prove it. The galaxy would never underestimate the children of Earth again.